Are you excited for the new Twisters movie coming out?
Originally, no.
Now, I'm confused because from what I'm seeing, it looks like a remake. I don't know if it's a sequel or a retelling of it, and they added an S.
Yeah, that's I'm kind of confused. I don't granted I didn't even know about this until recently and
Hmm.
could be wrong, but I originally thought there was a Twister too. But then this comes out. I'm just
No, I
feeling
don't think.
weird.
Well, we're going to discuss the original,
Hmm.
starring Bill Paxton, the late Bill Paxton, and Helen Hunt, 1996 Twister, with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 63% by the critics and 58% by the audience. Yippee ki mother! That's a different one. But it kind of fits for this. Kind of fits for this.
They do quote other movies in this one.
Yes, you know which one. And
Stephen King's The
happy,
Shining? No, I'm
not
just
that
kidding.
no, but we'll get to it.
I know which one.
Welcome back to A Tales of Two Bros. My name is Angel,
I'm a Don.
where we give you a review at least once a week. Spoiler alert. So I just recently saw it on Max. It's currently streaming there, and I guess in preparation for those who are going to see Twisters that comes out in a matter of days, depending on when we release this review. I originally saw it in the theaters. Did you see it in the theaters, or was this the first time you saw it?
This is the first time I've actually seen. I've seen clips, and I feel like I've
Right.
seen it in passing, like because I feel like mom and dad rented it at one point in time on VHS, but I
Okay.
never watched the entire thing.
What was your first take on it since you've first time seen it?
To be frank, I am not a fan of disaster films, like natural disaster films, like Mother Nature, earthquake,
Hmm.
volcano. Take
Hmm.
your pick. I've never been a big fan, and I know that's a genre for a lot of people. This is actually a pretty good film.
To me, it didn't feel like a natural disaster film. It
Yes,
felt like a blend of Jurassic Park. It had that feel
it
of
did.
Jurassic Park, where the storm was like a dinosaur that
There was
figured it out.
times like where the storm was like the sound sounded like more like a lion or like a creature. It sounded like something I would have heard
Hmm.
in another film from a like
Right,
a creature, and so it almost
and it's
had an
also
entity of itself.
right, even though it's random and it's several different entities, if you will.
Yeah, there was
But there's
multiple.
one where like it dissipates and it comes right back.
Yeah, I call that the jumper. Or they use a phrase, but basically
Hmm.
it does dissipate, but it's really refueling, and then it comes back down, and they refer to it as
Okay.
it's going to jump.
Gotcha. Okay. And then you have the drive-in scene where it's like coming from
Hmm.
behind the screen during the what you mentioned, the Stephen King, The Shining. But it also felt like a mixture of Point Break in the aspect they're thrill seekers.
Very
In
much
the
so.
original Point Break and the remake, they're thrill seekers, right? Yes, they're criminals, but they skydive, they do others like windsurf or whatever, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
Here, these guys get excited. They get almost a hard on every time a storm is about to hit
Well, they're like adrenaline.
or
Like
a
it's like
tornado,
chasing like the most
a story.
drastic experience that you can possibly find, and so they get a rush and they do get adrenaline off of it. You would have to be kind of to a certain level either addicted to it or crazy for it because, like they show in the movie, there's a high risk of danger if you get too close. Cow.
Same
Let me say.
cow. Which I thought was a funny moment in that aspect. Real quick, you have here Helen Hunt, as I mentioned, and the late Bill Paxton, which he's been in so many classic films, Weird Science, Aliens, the first Terminator. He had a cameo in that. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Was it
No,
a
we're
series
we're
or a movie called?
complete Bill Paxton fans.
But then you also have Robin Hood, Carrie Ells.
I
He
love
was
him.
in it. Yes, I think this is one of the few bad guys roles he played because he was one like kind of like that in Days of Thunder. He wasn't like the bad guy, but he was more like the Tom Cruise's antagonist
Yeah,
in
and
that. And
technically,
then he was also
not necessarily a bad guy, more of a dick.
yeah, but he was more like the antagonist. He's like
He's
egging
the
on the
competition.
protagonist, right? And he was in Days of Thunder, and then here as well.
Yes.
You have Jamie Kurtz, who was part of the Brat Pack.
Hmm.
She had a small role, but I think she had a pretty predominant role. And I mean, you just have here also like I haven't seen this movie since it came out, maybe on HBO. I saw it last back in the day,
Just by
but
chance.
you forget who else starred in it. Philip Seymour Hoffman. He was awesome in this. He was my favorite character here. Lois Smith, and she's still alive. She was so old in this movie in '96. She's still alive today. She's 93 today. I
Wow.
looked it up. Yes, and we've seen her like in other projects relatively recent as well. And then you have Ferris Bueller's best friend,
Yep.
Rabbit, played by Alan Ruck. And then you also have Sean Whalen, who played Alan Sanders. He was like the nerd roles and stuff like that. I
Mhm.
mean, I guess this could be considered like a nerd role. We have a guy from the original Police Academy, Scott Thomas. In the movie, he's the one that gets hit with the flying
Yeah. Now I recognize
hubcap.
them. Hmm.
In the Police Academy, he gets hit with a tray.
Yes.
In the first movie,
Because
hit his
it's
face.
like a
He's in the
callback
movie.
almost. He's like, my head.
Exactly. And then you have Todd Field. He was the one with the quote.
Yes. He goes,
That is
it's
no
not a
moon.
moon.
That's a space station. And he's now like a famous, I don't know about famous, but he's a director now.
Yeah.
And then you have Joey Slotnick. He plays a kind of like a nerd, a scientist, doctor, kind of many roles. You also have Jeremy Davies. He's been in like Spank the Monkey and all these like offbeat roles. Yeah, it's a coming of age movie. Zach Grenier, he plays like FBI agents or in that aspect.
Mm.
He was the one that got impaled in the truck.
Yes.
And then you have here also Gregory Spoiletter. He was the one that went mutiny on The Rock, the movie The Rock with Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage. Oh, Anthony Rapp. He was a famous actor and a Broadway star. He was the one that kind of exposed Kevin Spacey,
Okay.
co-written by Michael Crichton. He's the writer of Jurassic Park. There's that relation that I mentioned earlier because it had that feel.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Like there's Jurassic
Some of
Park
the
was
music
really
sometimes.
some of the music, but also the scenes where they focus on the environment and the nature. It's kind of like when they pan away and focus on the environment and the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, if that makes sense.
Right.
And it
The
kind of gives that
landscape,
same
yeah.
pacing of that.
But that's more of the director, that maybe he wrote it in the screenplay.
I could see that being like part in the screenplay. The director puts it to vision to screen, but I could see that being like illustrated by words.
Right. Now, like I said, it's been a while since I saw it, and I was entertained. Like you were entertained. You seen it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I forgot who was in it, and when I saw it, I was like, "Oh wow, that's pretty cool." Because like Philip Seymour Hoffman, didn't start as well as he did, and became as well known as he has. It's kind of like where Jack Black. He's in Enemy of the State.
Yeah.
With Will Smith and
Gene Hackman.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
So he has a small role in there. And so like that, even though Jack Black has been acting for a long time. But anyway, to me, my favorite character was Philip Seymour Hoffman's character. He was awesome.
I mean, they clip a lot of the scenes with him because he's literally a character into itself. It's like food.
Well, he's a scene stealer.
Food.
Yeah, so like he's moving his fingers, right. Like literally nuances that he's doing. But he's a scene stealer. Every time he's on there,
Yes.
he takes your attention. But he kind of reminded me like a young version of the dude in Jeff Bridges' movie. Yeah. What about you? Do you have a favorite character?
Bill Paxton. I think he carried it a lot. Helen
Definitely.
Hunt was
you feel for
good,
him.
but I kind of enjoyed Bill Paxton's character a little bit more because
Right.
which is weird because at the beginning you feel like it's supposed to be Helen Hunt's
It's her
movie.
story.
Yeah, it's really supposed to
Right.
be,
It's
but
her
like
story.
you follow him like 90% of the way
Which you think was weird. Like it would probably have been better or made more sense
to stick on her
if that the child was a boy instead of a girl.
and then focus on Bill.
A little bit, yeah, because he knows when it's happening. He kind of figures out, like he's like in touch when a tornado is about to happen, and he can read it. Yeah, like you understand her part because what happened to her father was taken out. Was it like a Category 5 or what was that? What
she was the only one to experience a Cat 5. F5.
Right. I can understand that where her thing is like, I want to look at it. I want to see it. Like she wants to be in the heart of the tornado. Okay, I get that. But yes, you're right. It felt like more like him. He was able to take a role. Yes, even though Dorothy was created by Joe.
But it was Bill Paxton's character's idea.
His name is Bill, by the way, so you can just call him Bill.
That's true. But it's like, okay, so it was Bill's idea, and it was like, "This is your baby." They both worked.
It was there.
Yeah.
It was their, I guess, love child, if you will.
Yes, it's like when we were watching Godzilla and versus Kong, Empire. We're like, it might as well have been just called King Kong and Godzilla, like needs to take a step,
Godzilla,
featuring Godzilla or something like that, because it was pretty much King Kong's movie. This
Right.
felt very much Bill's movie.
You're exactly right. What about scene? What was your favorite scene or moment?
Kind of like the part leading up to the two twisters, and
Mhm.
they're like, "We got sisters," and and they split up, and then they are encapsulated in both of them. I thought that was
Mhm.
actually really cool. It's a funny scene when you're seeing them all together at Meg's house. That's also a really good moment.
Mhm.
Get to see all of them
Yeah.
interact with each other. You mentioned it before, the tornado
Cal.
that strikes at a drive-through.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And a matter of fact, I remember there used to be a Universal Studios experience recreating the Twister, and even though I
Mhm.
didn't watch the movie, they were trying to duplicate the drive-through experience.
Oh, okay.
They
Yeah, I
referenced
know.
it
I don't know. I never what did that ride, so I don't know.
more like a show, but still,
One of my favorite moments is the cow scene.
yeah,
And because you're not just seeing it between with Bill's and Joe's eyes, but you're seeing it through the fiance's
yeah,
eyes too,
Melissa,
because she's there. Melissa, she's just there experiencing it for the first time.
she's us.
Yes, she is us. Like
That
Helen
was
Joe.
funny
So
in the sense that she always get a phone call and it's the same couple, and she's like, "I can't talk right now." Okay, listen, Julia.
right, right. She's like trying to multitask here, and she doesn't want to. She wants to be in Bill's world or what used to be his world because remember, he left it to be a weatherman,
Yeah.
a meteorologist in that aspect, have a steady job instead of putting himself at risk. And then she experiences it. She's like, this is way too much.
Hmm.
At one time, I thought that she's going to hook up with Dustin.
It felt like Dustin may have been like kind of moving in on that territory.
Oh,
Yeah,
he was hitting on her. He liked her. He
absolutely.
definitely liked her. Yeah, the cow scene where we're experiencing what she's experiencing, and then says that's the cow. It's like another cow. No, I think that's the same cow.
Yeah.
Which can happen, but it could be multiple cows too. So, but even though I had a good time and there are some really good moments and the cast was really good, there were some faux pas for me.
I'll sneak this one in real quick before you catch it.
Okay.
CGI.
Oh, of course,
So
that's a given.
it's a
CGI,
given,
especially at the end.
and at the beginning, where they were like showing the satellite.
Oh, in the beginning, I was cursing out the family for leaving the dog.
First of all, that
The
dog
girl,
has
the
no.
girl was the only one.
The dog has no situation awareness. He just sat there like, "Where are you guys going?"
I know
In
exactly.
most
But I'm just
situations,
saying,
that dog would have been gone before them. Let's be honest.
or with them
This is
right away.
true.
Where are you going with my best friend? You're taking my best friend. Where are you going? So I'm just saying, like the parents were like, "Screw the dog." That's so messed up.
No, I was yelling more at I did get upset more at the fact that I looked at that cellar door. I'm like, that's the worst cellar door I've ever seen in my life.
With
It,
one hinge, and
it
he's
was
trying
like
to hold it.
not
He's
even
trying
a
to
strong.
hold it with his.
And he goes, I can't hold it. I can't hold it. And it takes him with it, and he's still holding it. I'm like, no, you
I know,
held
like
on
you're
just
holding
fine.
it. Yeah,
I
exactly.
literally
I'm
said,
just
look,
saying,
you
why
held on
not?
just fine.
Why not just go deeper in and be with the family? You'll be safe. The door may be gone.
Hmm.
You may get wind in there. There may be some debris, but you would have been safe as all hell in that
I
aspect.
mean, like, for those who don't know, like, it's a risk, but yeah, you will be a lot safer going more to like the back of a shelter like that rather than holding
Hmm.
down the door, because like
Right,
you're going to be putting yourself more in that risk. And I
right.
think a lot of people feel like it's more like a suction. I mean, there is some suction to it, but to my knowledge, it's more like a
Well,
battering of the wind pulling and whatnot.
but if it was a suction, you would think it would take multiple things out, especially the dog.
Exactly. No, and that's why I'm saying it's not the case. Like there's been cases where tornadoes will come through and literally chop a
Mm,
house in half, and like half the house will
right.
stand and the other half would just be collapsed.
Speaking about houses, you just gave me another faux pas that's at the end as well. I'm sorry, did I cut you off in the sense like something you liked or something? Oh,
No, this
CGI. You're talking about the
CGI.
CGI.
So like the CGI with the satellite, it was just really dated. It's one of those things like I get when CGI was coming out and they're like, we want to be top of the line, make things really cool. Sometimes throwing a model figure in there, man, just make it look good.
I think they did for like the houses getting
The
destroyed.
houses, yes, but throwing debris like those trees, sometimes those tree trunks just did not look good.
Even the cow
Yes.
looked really off too. But for me, the faux pas was pretty much towards the end. Well, the house, for example, where they're driving the truck, a house falls in front of them.
Oh, it looked like they should have flew out the second floor, like
Yes,
because they went up the
yes,
staircase, even though it was angled.
yes,
It was angled.
yes. It was on the side.
Yes, and
But I was like, wait a minute. You're on the side, but you're going up the steps.
yes,
I'm like, huh?
but then they
And
come
then
out
you
like at the very
exit on
bottom
the first
section.
floor. They come out of the first floor of the side of the house.
Yes,
Yes. So editing was definitely not done right.
yes.
I rewound it 3 times to watch that. I was like, wait a minute. The steps.
I would have
Huh?
I would have even conceded like maybe the middle of the wall. You know, like the middle of the house,
Okay.
a little bit higher.
Right.
It
But,
looked like it should have been more than 2 feet off the ground.
well, see, the thing is, the whole thing, it lands on the side. So it goes in the first floor, of course, but then it's going upstairs. So regardless, that exit
Should have
doesn't
been
make
like
any
around
sense
10 feet.
for the entrance. This is what should have happened then. The car should have been sideways
Yeah, not come
and
out
out
straight.
of that, right, on 4 wheels.
Mhm.
If anything, that's what should have happened. And then come out where the second floor would have been. And then they just crash, and then somehow wind flipped them over, or the tornado flipped them over somehow onto their wheels, and they keep going. A little unbelievable, but more believable than seeing it go upstairs and
We're
leave on the same floor.
going in.
Yeah. Also, at the end, where they strap themselves with long ass leather bands,
I think I
and
remember
instead of
you
holding,
talking about that one when you first saw it too, because I feel like you had an issue with the fact that they strapped themselves to a pipe when it first came out, and I think I remember you talking
well,
about that with someone.
well, not just that, but it was like, well, he says this is dug in. Like, I don't know how he knows, but the bars are dug in like 10 feet deep or 20 feet deep, something
Yeah, he
like
said like
that.
20 feet deep.
Something crazy. But they hold on, but they're holding on with their hands in the middle of a tornado. Their feet are up. They're being suctioned in, but they're being held perfectly on a long ass leather band, which if they can tear out a house, they can rip off that leather band from them, or they will be torn apart. Maybe Mythbusters can figure it out if that can happen or not. But I just felt that was a little unbelievable. And they're not dirty.
They were
All
dirty
that
the first time when they were underneath
right,
the
but they weren't
bridge.
dirty. Right, but they weren't dirty from that. All that debris and whatever was in that tornado, they're just clean and smooth and not even like
It's like a
in
shower.
pain, but they weren't wet.
Yeah, they should be in pain. I mean, you could argue that there was adrenaline and that when that wears off, they're
Yeah,
going to be sore for
I
days.
mean, like, okay, if you're holding with your fingers like this and you can easily slip through
Mhm.
those leather bands, easily
Yeah, it didn't
slip
look
through,
like they were like the most body harnessed
secured. I thought they were going to like strap their arms and legs around the pole at the bottom.
or wrap
And
the
then, you
wrap
know,
the bands
that-
or maybe around the shoulders and then to the I mean they wrapped it around the poles, but yeah.
yeah, but it wasn't enough. I just thought they were going to be wrapped around like they did under the bridge. They wrapped themselves around the posts
Mhm.
or the base of that bridge. You thought they'll be there too.
I thought you were about
Okay.
to talk about the house where they walk in and just all hanging tools and they're like, "What kind of people are these?"
No, no, I didn't see that. And yeah, and then they didn't get hit with anything inside that shed either. No
They
broken
dodged it.
wood or anything like that. Huh?
They dodged it all. I mean, they were more in danger of the
Easily.
fences going through the shed, going through the
Right.
barn than through that shed.
Yeah. No, I know.
Of the entire movie, the only one that got it the worst was the driver.
Oh, most definitely.
Maybe we should
he
turn
got the
back.
worst.
No, keep driving. Do what I say, and then look out. And
But what
then
happened to-
I was like, it
But
goes all
we
the
don't
way
know
through.
What happened to him? Right, but it only hits the driver. It doesn't hit Robin Hood. Well, he's done, I guess.
Yeah,
He's
because
up
it
chasing the
threw
storm.
him. It threw the truck up, and it went up about like 5 or 6 stories up in height, and then dropped shortly after that. Like you could see, it went up way taller than any of the houses that are there, and then dropped. That's like driving off a cliff. You're probably not going to survive that.
I just wish that the thing hit him instead.
It would have been more poetic, just to be frank.
Yeah, because I felt sorry for the driver. The driver's like, I think we should listen to them. Hello, and he's like, no. And then quack. It's like, damn it.
Which is kind of weird because he's like throughout the entire film, he's like, follow Bill. What's Bill doing? Watch them, and like he's like listening and like kind of hanging on their coattails. And then the one time they're trying to warn him, he's like, no.
His ego got in the way. I don't know.
You could
But
say
he
that
was
his ego got away, but to me, it didn't make sense because like he probably would have been like he worked with them, so like
right. Oh, yeah, they're like the three amigos in that
exactly.
aspect.
Even if I had someone I worked with that turned on me, if I know that person can spot danger, I wouldn't think like
Mhm.
that person's just gonna be like put me in a dangerous area.
He plays a good jerk.
He does.
He
He
plays he
does.
plays a good jerk.
It's not the first time, like you mentioned, the other
No,
films, and he's done a lot smaller. Matter of fact, the Jim Carrey Liar Liar. I think he played a good guy, but also a jerk at the same time. Could
liar,
be.
liar.
Yeah, wasn't he the boyfriend of the ex-wife?
Oh yes,
Was he a jerk in that movie? I can't
yes.
remember if he was.
No, it was very no, it was just very small role, and no, it was like more like a cameo aspect. He was like in it
No,
maybe two scenes, maybe. It
I
was
feel like
very it
there's
was
definitely
very
other
small.
movies where he plays a jerk very well. But
Oh yeah, no, definitely,
yeah,
definitely. Is it worth the watch?
I would say yeah, it is worth the watch.
1996, and it still holds up.
Yeah,
Granted, there's no cell phones or not as active as today because a lot of stuff that will would happen. You've seen people out with their phones putting themselves in, especially in the
yeah.
drive-in.
There's no
They'll put their
like
phones out.
smartphones. I mean, the doctor had a cell phone. She like ripped out the cord and
That's what I meant. Smartphones, yes.
yeah.
Yeah, the cell phones. Yeah, the Motorola's, the big ass ones.
Hmm.
That in comparison to now, on Rotten Tomatoes, again, 63% by the critics, 58% by the audience. With the critics, though, is 82 reviews, where the audience is over 250,000. Yeah.
Wait, didn't this
So
win
where do you see it?
awards?
I don't know.
I thought maybe at least got nominated.
Nothing, maybe special effects or sound
Yeah, yeah,
effects,
yeah.
not for acting, but maybe MTV Awards.
Probably.
Now, whatever, where are you? Are you at 63? Are you in the 50s? I mean, it's not that much of a difference.
I would go higher.
Yeah, I will be more in the 80s in the sense of the entertainment factor
Hmm.
and acting chops, the group.
Okay,
Uh,
so I would say, and there is a little bit of bias on my side just because of the genre that it is. Not my cup of tea, but I would put solid 82. You
right.
know,
I mean,
it
natural
like
disasters is not really my thing either,
yeah.
but I was entertained here. I mean, I like you. I love Bill Paxton. I thought he was great. Philip Seymour Hoffman stole every scene he was in.
Hmm.
You felt for Jamie Kurtz being the fiance that decides to leave because she can't
I
do
felt so
this
bad for
anymore.
her.
Yeah, she knows that he is still in love with the ex.
Yeah,
You feel bad for Joe because you know what she's going through because of the trauma she dealt as a kid, where she's going through. And you know that this guy, it was Bill, he was made for this.
true. But that
He
makes me
was
wonder like are they a relationship of
convenience.
yeah, a relationship of convenience, a relationship of people that are kind of destructive together because like they work together for certain situations, but then they don't in others. Because you only see them really
But
vibe together when they put themselves in extreme danger, and then when they're not,
mhm.
they're kind of like polar opposite. There's a lot of negativity there,
Well, there's a lot of
friction.
I'm right, you're wrong kind of
Yeah,
thing.
which is okay to a certain extent, but like if it's all the time, that's not necessarily. It feels toxic
Healthy.
sometimes to me.
Like you can see like why he left her.
And like she literally just kind
And
of
like
pushes that line a little bit too far. Like they were calling him extreme,
mhm,
but she's pushing that line to the point like where he's like, "You're gonna get us killed if you keep going."
right, correct. No, exactly. But again, her trauma
Trauma,
that she
yeah,
went through is her inspiration, I guess, or she's making it into inspiration or to get
obsession.
what's going. Thank you. That's the word I'm looking for.
Hmm.
Obsession. Yes. Right. And where he's just trying to solve a puzzle like a scientist.
He's like the Steve Irwin
Dorothy.
of Twisters,
Right. And then, Dorothy is a reference to,
Wizard of Oz. They even painted a Dorothy on
yes.
there. What was
So,
your score?
and then the low 80s,
Low
80,
80s?
85.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I
Yeah.
cut you off there,
It's
but
solid. No,
yeah,
no. It's a solid, that one. I think the other two scores is too low. It holds up. It grabs your attention. There are
hmm,
some comedic moments. There are some like moments you feel for the characters.
yeah.
All right, guys, that is our throwback review of Twister. Have you seen it? What was your favorite moment? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you have a movie or show you'd like us to review, please let us know in the comments below as well. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Until next time, will be the next time. I'm Angel.
I'm a Don.
Love you, bro.
Love you too.
Are you going to see Twisters?
I don't know. Are you?
Yeah.
I might.
Doesn't mean we have to review it.